Hi, I'm Lita Leapins.
And I'm Jim Gordon.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Lita, we're here at the brand new Alouette Bistro, and I don't think, have we done an intro to the show on a staircase before?
Yes, we have, actually, at Hydra, another one of the executive table group. Great restaurants, but we are here at where, Jim?
Alouette Bistro. It's brand new on Hornby Street in Le Soleil Hotel in downtown Vancouver.
Yes, and we are going to try their great cocktails, taste the amazing French food, as well as check out this incredible wine list.
You're going to do something too with savoring, aren't you? Something like that? Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, it's all coming up on this edition of Our City Tonight.
Well, we're going to jump right into cocktails, one of my favorite parts of this segment. And if you've watched the show before, you'll definitely recognize this gentleman, Mark Featherstone, who is working with Executive Table Group of restaurants, some great restaurants around town. But at Alouette, you have an amazing cocktail program. Tell us what inspiration these cocktails are.
Thanks so much, Lita. We've got 3 here. We've started with France around the world. We want to go have some different influence from different parts, make it nice, fun, and tropical, not just kind of stuck in our doldrums downtown. It's our oasis. We want a little escape, get away. Mm-hmm. We start with our Floridita. So it has beautiful Bombay bramble, has raspberry, blackberry, add a little Saint Germain with some elderflower syrup.
Yeah.
Then we go a fresh lime and ginger ale.
That's perfect. I'm going to actually rename that one to Floralita, if you don't mind.
I'll put in a name change for you. Not a problem.
Perfect. And next, this is super interesting.
Lavender Paloma. So our typical Paloma using Patron Reposado, really super tasty, but we're doing a homemade lavender syrup. So you got the herb de Provence in there, also part of our garnish. With the tequila, we've got a little lime in there, and fresh grapefruit juice.
That's very cheeky. So you've made it French by adding your herbaceous little bits. Okay, perfect. Now, next, I recognize that one.
Of course, our French 75. We like to do a nod to all the classics, the sidecar, Vieux Carré. This, of course, is French 75. So nice, you can go gin or cognac. We like to go with gin, a little simple syrup, fresh lemon, this top of sparkling wine.
Wonderful. Well, we definitely have to mention the amazing wine program here. Mark, walk us through that.
Well, we've gone all French all the time. So we do a nice homage or a nod to all the different French wine regions, and then really tied it all in with just fantastic food. So it's worked out really well.
Wonderful. But you have told me you're going to be branching out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I'll definitely have some BC wines. We'll do a fresh sheet, but French inspired. They have some really great wineries here in BC as well.
And you love to have fun with the customers. You always have. So you taught me how to savor.
You did quite well, by the way.
Well, thank you. That was a lot of fun. And as guests order a nice bottle of bubble,
absolutely,
they can expect to be taught properly. That was a lot of fun. Well, we are going to take a little break here, and Jim has a great inside business segment to share with us.
He's a local tech entrepreneur and movie producer. He is spearheading the drive to launch Canada's first battery electric car racing team just in time for Vancouver's inaugural ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. That's next summer, folks. He is also the CEO of Sycamore Entertainment Group. It is a great pleasure to welcome Edward Sylvan to our show here at Alouette. Thanks for joining us.
Jim, thanks for having me.
And it's great to get you because you're not here a lot, so we've got you in the country and the city here. Listen, I'm going to jump right in because there is so much to talk about. Let's talk first about Sycamore Entertainment Group and CHEK.TV.
Right. So Sycamore Entertainment Group is a full-service film and distribution marketing company. So what we do, we're the people who take finished films from producers, and we're the people who get them into the theaters where you and your family can go and watch it. And we're also the people that market these films. So we're the people who get the posters on the side of the buses and the commercials on television and all of the trailers that you see to market that film so that you can go see it. That's our core business. And SEGI TV, which is just an acronym for Sycamore Entertainment Group Inc., is the streaming portion of that distribution platform, not dissimilar to any of the other streaming platforms that you're familiar with. So we added that in the last year to be part of our distribution mix in addition to the theaters.
And with what you do, there's always a mix like what we do between business and the artistic side of these things. Talk a bit about the company and how you're able to blend both those together in, let's say, a harmonious fashion.
Right. Well, as you know, film in and of itself is a very capital-intensive business.
Sure.
It takes a lot of money in order to make a movie, tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars. So a lot of what people may not know is a lot of film money actually comes from Wall Street or Bay Street, the financial industry. And being that I'm over 30 years in the financial industry, I was able to actually bridge the gap between creative artists, filmmakers, people who understand the craft of making movies, who aren't necessarily business people, and the financial world who is providing capital to get these films made. So essentially it's commerce meets art, and that's where we get film. So as somebody who's in both areas, I'm able to bridge that gap and be somewhat of an interpreter between the two vernaculars and languages.
Especially when you own your own company too. It's just that blend has to be there.
Absolutely.
I was talking to your team earlier, and I wanted to bring this up, that only 8 minority-owned operating companies that are publicly traded.
Yes.
That's astounding to me.
It's astounding.
Talk a bit about how that has been a challenge for you and your team.
It's been a huge challenge, and Jim, thank you for asking that question because it's an important part of our mandate when we speak about inclusion. It's been a challenge because primarily for years, the financial industry isn't financing companies that are run by people that look like me. We've just been a company that's been a race of people that's been locked out of financial services and financing for our companies. Black-owned companies only get 1% of all liquidity and capital that's going into the marketplace. So coming from the financial world, I'm privileged and blessed because I understood that culture, the subculture of finance. So with that education, with that formal education and then that work experience, I was able to navigate through where most other people who don't have that background that look like me are just lost. But even having that background, it's still been a challenge because for all the reasons we know and are seeing in our world today.
Are you able to, before we get to the racing, which I'm excited to talk about, I want to just continue a little further with the company. Because of the challenges, because of the community from which you came, you're also doing your best to kind of spearhead and mentor projects, voices of other communities with the company and the productions to get other voices heard.
Correct. One of the things that drives us as a company is to represent the underrepresented and tell the stories of that don't make it to Hollywood. Tell the stories of the filmmakers that don't have agents at William Morris Agency but are fantastic storytellers, fantastic directors, great actors that aren't getting the chance. Our mandate is to go out and seek these stories because we're connected directly to those communities. We can dig down deep and pull out some great artists to make those stories. So that's what drives us as a company, and then we're able to get these films funded or get them into the attention of people who can fund them so that they can reach the rest of the world.
It's so important too. It seems like you shouldn't have to say this, but I'll say it anyway, about just every time you see a movie come out from a different community, you hear from the kids and the parents who say it's so important for these kids to see themselves on the screen.
That's
and
right.
For years that wasn't happening. So
yes,
kudos to that. Okay,
Thank you.
Let's talk a bit about you have so many things going on, but you are focused to get an electric racing car team in next summer's big event here, which we were talking before camera, is it's great to see that return to Vancouver.
Yes.
Walk us through what you want to do and what's happening next summer.
What we want to do is we want to put together a team that's run by SEGI TV and be on the grid as a race car team participating in the race series, not only as a sponsor or a content creator, but actually have drivers in the car participating. And the reason for that is, as a streaming company, which is our core mandate, it's a great way to be able to be involved in creating original content. All the other streaming companies have come to realize that the name of the streaming game is producing original content. So, and nothing brings people together like sport, and in particular, motorsports. So those are the mandates that we're trying to put this team together for. And in addition, what the racing series is about is clean energy, the electrification of vehicles, and saving our environment through and the devastations of climate change.
And it's interesting because I was saying to you, I'm a casual F1 fan,
Yes.
but I'm really curious and interested to see this circuit,
It's fantastic.
which has a lot more opportunity for other teams to win,
Correct.
unlike F1.
Correct.
I
Correct.
think we can all acknowledge that.
Yes.
And next summer's event, as I said, it's been 20 years, or 17, I think it's only
17
since we had
years,
any
yeah,
type of
yeah,
racing in the city.
15 or 17, yeah.
What's happening with this? It's not just racing
Not
next
at all.
summer either, is it?
No. What's happening coming up is it's a 3-day festival, if
Yeah.
you will. And that festival consists of a conference that will speak to technology and the growing push forward of all the different technologies and how that can help businesses, both locally and globally. And then it's a concert series that's going to have 2 very high-profile performers. And then lastly, it's going to have the race on the final day, which will include a celebrity race. So it's more of a festival, and the purpose of that, Jim, is to bring in people that know nothing about the sport through music and through education, and add the racing as well, so that there's a learning of this new race series that can happen to grow the fan base.
And the great plus is it's good for the environment.
It's
and
great for the
planet, right?
environment, absolutely.
Hey, this has been great talking to you. We just met today. You got a great story, and I don't know how you have any time to sleep because you've got lots going on. You got a good team behind you.
Sleep on the plane.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, it's Edward Sylvan. He is the CEO of Sycamore Entertainment Group. Check out, did I say it right, Segi or CG?
Segi.
Segi's, thank you. Segi.tv, so it's SEGI.tv.
Which happens to be our stock symbol. as well.
Yes, okay. All the information, we'll have all this stuff for you guys if you want to recap in our closing credits. Edward, thank you for joining us today.
Jim, thank you for having me. I
Pleasure.
appreciate you giving me the platform.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Thank you.
Well, we're back here at Alouette Bistro on Hornby Street, and I always manage to slide in nicely when the food is coming out, Lita.
You are absolutely brilliant at that,
I really
Jim.
am, aren't I? Yeah.
But we're joined by executive chef Albert Tran at this wonderful new French restaurant, and we have some delicious dishes in front of us. Tell us about these dishes, Albert.
So what we have here is our coquille Saint-Jacques, kind of our modern take on it, as well as our West Coast bouillabaisse. So the idea of that coquille Saint-Jacques is really just showcasing modern techniques, West Coast ingredient, and homage to the French classics, having the your cheese component, your potato component to it, with again the West Coast ingredient of the seaweed and the live watercress. Yeah, so that's kind of really the homage to the French classic on that dish and really showcasing everything. And then over here we have our West Coast shellfish bouillabaisse. So essentially we have our Salt Spring Island mussels, Pacific sablefish, Dungeness crab from our Pacific Ocean as well, and our tomato saffron broth. Yeah.
It's a perfect marriage of BC and France.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say, Chef, talk about the, and I mean this in a good way, the challenges creatively of putting the menu together, the dishes, because as Lita just said, you want the French element clearly, but that because we live in such a serious foodie kind of region where we are, about putting them all together like that. So talk about how you sat down to kind of put this together.
Well, the idea for me really just going back to all those French classic flavors, really the fundamentals of the techniques that we're really trying to hone down on as well, and just really showcasing it again, paying homage to the French traditions that we're not really messing around with too much, but giving that modern influence and our big West Coast influence of the beautiful ingredients that we always have year-round, whether it's this seafood shellfish or our seaweed and our produces year-round that we offer. So that's kind of the idea of all these dishes that how I conceptualize with all these ideas and dishes on the menu.
And speaking of seasonal, are you going to change things up a little bit?
Yes, so the idea of the menu obviously being seasonal, we do try to update and change things based on availability of the seasons and try to really, again, showcase the West Coast produce and ingredient that is offered throughout the year, not just having one plain vegetable across the board for the whole year, and really just sourcing out the best in supplies I can get and working with the amazing suppliers, local suppliers.
Locally, we should say, of course, yeah.
And because I know they obviously have a lot to offer through different times of the years, and I definitely take a lot of their advice in terms of what they have to offer, what their best ingredient is, and go really have that as my driving force to the menu as well. Just what West Coast offers at a certain time of the year.
Well, the last dish, and perhaps one of my most favorite of French cuisine, because I know I ran all over Paris to get tartare all the time. Tell us about this dish.
So I guess the idea of this, going back to the French classics, really paying homage to the French, how they do a tableside, really just emphasizing the West Coast ingredients. So trying to get the best product we can and really just showcasing that, and without messing around with it too much. But again, going back to the classic flavors of French and what the dish is all about.
Delicious. And we have to give thanks to Hamid, who was our guy on camera, the manager here at Alouette. He did a great job, and he's so entertaining, and he's so welcoming when we come to Alouette.
Chef, this is all great. I don't mean to be blunt, but I think we got to wrap this up because I got to eat.
Jim hasn't dug in yet, and I'm shocked.
Holding off.
He's
like,
being French polite.
Anyway, Chef, thank you very much.
Thank you, really appreciate it.
This New Zealand Spotlight is brought to you by our friends at New Zealand Trade and Enterprise.
Well, we're pretty excited for this New Zealand Spotlight. It is definitely something that both Jim and I absolutely love. We are showcasing Whittaker's chocolates, and we have Matt Whittaker, who is one of the family members of Whittaker Chocolates. He's coming to us from New Zealand, Wellington, New Zealand. Welcome, Matt. We're so excited to have you on Our City Tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me, Lisa. It's great to be here.
Wonderful. Well, you have quite the story. 4 generations of chocolate makers, over 130 years of expertise, quality chocolate. In fact, your family history even includes selling chocolate, well, not you personally, selling chocolates from the back of a horse and cart. So we can't wait to hear a little bit more about the great story behind Whittaker's. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So my great-grandfather, J.H. Whittaker, founded our business in 1896. So we're actually 125 years old this year. So it's very, very exciting. 4 generations, as you mentioned. Both myself and my sister Holly are in the business. And also my father and my uncle, Andrew and Brian, who are the current owners and directors of the business. We've been very lucky in our history. We have been awarded New Zealand's most trusted brand for the last 10 years in a row, which is a great acknowledgement of our dedication to quality and our success, particularly in New Zealand and now abroad.
And you take quality very seriously, obviously. You listen to what the masses want. No palm oil, your Rainforest Alliance certified cocoa, no GM ingredients. So seriously, quality is something that you guys have taken seriously from the beginning, and that's why you won all these awards, obviously. Tell us a bit more specifically about your products.
Absolutely. So all our chocolate's made from beans to bar. We bring in the raw cocoa from, in our case, from Ghana, Nicaragua, and Samoa. And so we bring it into our factory in Porirua, and we roast the beans. We take those beans and we grind them into liquor, and then we introduce that into the recipe. So we start right from scratch. Short of growing the cocoa ourselves, we look after the whole process, which ensures the quality right from the bean to the finished chocolate bar.
Now, tell us a little bit as we wrap up here about the Rainforest Alliance certification.
Yeah, so that when we spoke about how we get cocoa from Ghana and bring it over to here in New Zealand to process, the cocoa that we source in Ghana is all 100% Rainforest certified. That means that we can be sure that our cocoa is grown in an ethical way. And as a result of our program, which sits around the Rainforest certification, that's helping, working really closely with our co-ops and the farmers that grow our cocoa. We were awarded the Golden Egg Award, and we came fourth in the world out of all chocolate brands for our work in sustainable cocoa.
Well, it's so important, and obviously when people, they're making their dollars vote for people that are being sustainable and obviously taking care of the environment. So big kudos to Whitakers for doing that. And as we close up here, definitely you are increasing your presence in Canada. I know we're going to be chatting a little bit later about that as well. Because we all enjoy chocolate in Canada, and I think we've got the same sort of mindset as well, is we do want to be more environmentally sensitive. So Matt, any closing words about your amazing chocolate and your amazing family?
No, just look, thanks for the opportunity to come on here and talk about our chocolate and our brand, and we're just super excited about growing our presence in Canada. So,
wonderful. Well, it's great to have you on there. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Well, we are now joined by Megan Sinclair. She is the product developer at Whitakers Chocolate. What an amazing job, Megan. I'm so envious. Tell us a little bit about what your job entails.
Okay, so not only do I work for New Zealand's most loved and trusted brand, I also get to bring creativity and food science into my daily job by mixing and creating new chocolate flavours. So quality is at the heart of everything we do. So I get to create wonderful flavours in this world-class chocolate that uses clean green New Zealand milk powder, no palm oil, no GM ingredients, and is RA certified.
Well, you definitely are working for a world-class company, and just delicious. And I love the chocolate. We're so fortunate we have it here in Canada. What is your favorite flavor? I have to ask that.
So after 13 years of eating the chocolate, I still love coming to work and eating chocolate every day, of course. So it's very hard to say which one in particular, because obviously I'm working on new flavors. So I'm tasting that new flavor every day and modifying it and creating the perfect formula. But you cannot go past our 5-roll creamy milk 33% cocoa chocolate. World-class chocolate made on world-class machines. We brought in our 5-roll refiner back in 2012, which has allowed us to refine the chocolate to a smooth, velvety particle size, and therefore you get this melt-away, glorious, creamy chocolate finish. So there's something truly addictive about our 33% creamy milk
Absolutely,
chocolate.
and my crew offset are totally drooling because I have the chocolate in front of me. We're going to be opening it as soon as we're done. Last thing, how do you actually come up with new flavors?
Great question. Well, we're very inclusive here at Whitakers and highly innovative. So we take our ideas from everywhere, which is great, from the directors, the family, down to our chocolate lovers. So I encourage Canadian chocolate lovers to get on our social page and give us ideas. We'll try them. Never say never.
What a great idea. Thanks, Megan. We certainly appreciate having you on Our City Tonight. And we are now going to go to Jim because we have one more person to talk to about this amazing chocolate. Jim, where are you now?
Well, we're continuing with our New Zealand Spotlight. Lita spoke with reps down in New Zealand earlier for Whitakers Chocolate. We're now the local angle part of this segment. I'm with Edwin Chang. He's the store manager here at a very large London Drugs on Broadway, if you're watching the rest of the country, just in the downtown area. Edwin, we always like to cite the local angle to these New Zealand spotlights. We should also tell our viewers at home we have just taken our masks off for this interview. They'll be going back on when we're done. Talk a bit about London Drugs. I had no idea. They've been part of my life in this town since I lived here, but 1945, they first came about here in Vancouver. You've been with them almost 30 years.
Yeah, I've been with them for 28 years, coming up soon. So same thing. When I was growing up, my parents took me to London Drugs. I didn't know much about it, but it's been a great company and been around in Western Canada for a long time.
Yeah, and evolving, like you walk to the stores and things that you've changed over the years to keep up with the times. Talk a bit about your relationship, London Drugs relationship with Whittaker's.
I remember when I started, we were talking about it, I remember their box chocolates on our shelves when I first started with them.
Yeah.
So, and then just evolving with them as they go, and they've been a great partnership of ours. So it's been fantastic to be a part of that story.
And what about, and you guys, I tell our viewers about the exclusivity you have on some of their products here, because you've got a good selection of Whittaker products here. But
We do, yeah. We have, some of the exclusive artisan brands, so 100-gram bar, and there's a 50-gram peanut slab. So exclusive here at London Drugs, which is
already
nice.
getting hungry. Actually, it's
I know, right?
10 o'clock in the morning. I want to
Yeah.
eat chocolate all of a sudden.
Anything peanut and chocolate.
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
end, yeah.
And give our viewers a little more background too on London Drugs, if you could. I mean, as I said, around since the end of World War II, to put it into perspective.
Yeah, so we have stores in Western Canada all the way over to Winnipeg, and what's great is we're a family-owned business, right? As same as Whittaker. So I think that
Good connection.
It's really great,
Yeah.
good connection to be able to have that partnership, and I think that's probably as well one of the bonds of keeping that relationship for such a long period of time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's great stuff. Well, you know where to get your Whittaker's chocolate, folks. And I'll tell you, I just got turned on to them last year, and it's tough when I go into a London Drugs not to wander over to that section. It's Whittaker's Chocolates, all part of our New Zealand spotlight on Whittaker's Chocolate. Thanks to Edwin Cheng, the manager here at a very large London Drugs on Broadway.
This New Zealand Spotlight has been brought to you by our friends at New Zealand Trade and Enterprise.
Well, it is time to wrap things up here at Alouette Bistro. We're joined once again by Mark. Mark, tons to talk about just in terms of what's going on here. Starting with hours, or I should say what you're serving, breakfast, lunch, all that coming.
Well, right now we're going through Wednesday through Sunday, and then starting beginning of October, we're going to be open breakfast, lunch, and dinner all the time.
And you've got so many great areas in the restaurant itself. Like we've filmed only downstairs. You've got this gorgeous upstairs. Tell us what is upstairs.
I have a beautiful mezzanine. We created wonderful little window booths. We have a private dining room. I like to call my little Le Coin Perdu, our forgotten corner. So it's fantastic. Lots of places to welcome everybody and space for dining.
I think it's a great thing. Stay next door and you can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner here, and then sleep it off next door.
Good point to bring up. Yeah, we should say this is in the Le Soleil Hotel right here on Hornby. For the folks watching in the rest of the country, great place to come check out. Okay, Mark, thank you. Thanks to Chef. Thanks to everybody here. Claire, Mark, everybody. Can I start eating now?
Yes, you may.
My mouth will be full in a few seconds with food. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
Outdoor wear for Jim and Lita provided by Helly Hansen, alive since 1877.
Soluzione Spa Products, a national luxury spa product distribution company located in North Vancouver, British Columbia.